Welcome, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Mabus, and I am the publisher of Travel Market Report. And I am delighted that you're joining us today for what will be a very, very exciting MasterAdvisor session. I'm just going to give it another minute, but while we're letting other people in to the session, I just wanted to remind everyone that these MasterAdvisor series are set for you as our dedicated readers to really learn from your peers. We have found that travel advisors are the greatest educators for other travel advisors, and that we all learn from successful advisors like Victoria Baumgarten that we'll be speaking with today. This is our 60th session. We started them during the pandemic, and they have been very, very successful. And many of you have written in with comments of all that you have learned in terms of tips and new ways of working with your clients and your suppliers.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jennifer Arango with Travel Market Report. Sorry for the delay. We're working on getting Anne Marie back on the line, but in the meanwhile, I'd like to introduce Saul Finesca, who is the head of sales for Explorer Journeys, and he's going to share a little bit about Explorer with us now.
Thanks, Jennifer. Appreciate that. And hopefully everybody can hear me and I don't disappear. You gotta love technology sometimes. But good afternoon to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody today, especially having the honor of sponsoring today's session and being with a dear friend and definitely a strong supporter and advocate for Explorer Journeys, Miss Victoria. But a little bit about Explorer Journeys while we kick things off and wait for Anne Marie to join us. Explorer Journeys really represents the ambition of the Aponte Vago family, our owners, to create a transformative luxury ocean travel experience and brand that redefines the luxury cruise category for the discerning traveler. We really are transforming the classic luxury cruise to true ocean escapes that inspire exploration in all its forms, all with a spirit of vibrant, cosmopolitan, and relaxed European luxury. A vibrant, cosmopolitan European luxury lifestyle and family-owned brand headquartered in the heart of Swiss hospitality, Geneva, Switzerland. We really do have the gold thread of Swiss luxury running through our brand. Explorer Journeys is going to set ourselves apart by truly delivering on space, actually the highest space to guest ratio in our category of cruising, privacy, choice, design, and of course, our destination experiences. But most importantly is our unwavering commitment to the advisor community. We have designed industry-leading and industry-first programs and tools to protect the health and longevity of the travel advisor community. We have an industry-first rolling commission payment program whereby we are paying you commissions today within 21 days of Explorer Journeys receiving funds on a booking. We are offering preferred partner commission programs of up to 18%. We do not have any NCFs, so no non-commissionable fares. We also pay 10% commission on all add-ons, including, of course, transfers, pre and post journey hotels, immersive land-based journeys, and our destination experiences. So that is my quick little 2-minute elevator pitch, but really inspired by today's session, which is all about how to best collaborate with your luxury partners. The art of listening is part of our culture here at Explorer Journeys. So I really do encourage all of you to engage with us, get registered on our Explorer Travel Advisor Center to learn more and get connected with all of our and your dedicated business relationship leaders across the country. And before we turn it back over, we have a little 90-second video that we would love to share with you today. So Tom, I will leave that with you.
Thank you so much, Saul. And I'm sure that you will let us know who we can contact at Explorer Journeys if any of our advisors on have any questions and want to reach out to them.
And thank you. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, I apologize, everyone. This is Anne Marie again, and I don't know why, but my video is not on. But Saul, I want to thank you so much for sponsoring this session today. It's only important that you are seen and that Victoria is seen. So I'm okay that my video is not working, but you know, you have some unbelievable job to be head of sales for the US and the Americas at a time when you're actually not yet in market. You know, it's pre-market. It must be an incredible experience for you and the entire sales team. So we want to wish you great luck. That video certainly shows that Explorer Journeys will indeed be a luxury in its own category. And we're so looking forward to Explorer One debuting in July of 2023. I think it's perfect timing for the travel industry. And we wish you great success. But mostly, I want to thank Explorer Journeys and you, Saul, for your strong partnership with Travel Market Report. You've been with us from the beginning, and we will be with you, and we'll help you get those sales on the books. But we're very proud of our partnership, and I want to thank you very much. And in particular, I want to thank you for starting today's session with Victoria. I now want to introduce Victoria Boomgarden. Victoria, we are so excited to have you here on this, our 60th session of our Master Advisor series. We know that you have been an avid viewer of the Master Advisor series, and I thank you for your kind comments in regard to other advisors who have helped, give you information and tips. Victoria has been in the business for over 40 years. She is president and started Elan Travel in 2020, which to me is amazing in itself, Victoria. I don't know many businesses that started in 2020. And to have your 40 years experience starting a business and to have the reputation that you have in the luxury market is incredible. So we're honored to have you join us today. And why don't we just start with Victoria? Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got into the industry?
Well, thank you, Anne-Marie. It truly is a pleasure to be with you after watching many of your interviews and realizing what an advocate you are for the advisors, and that you would consider me worthy. I'm grateful, and I'm excited about having the opportunity to chat today. So what I like people to know, and some of this is forced by having 6 brothers who beat it into your head all of the time, but I'm very real. Succeeding in the ultra luxury market doesn't mean that that is who you are. I think what's really important to know is that you need to be yourself. And if that is your niche and you get so inspired by that and love that, and you find yourself excelling at that, everyone enjoys knowing you as a real person. So to start out and keep it real, I'm also married to a wonderful man, my favorite traveler on the planet, my husband, Michael. We've been married 46 years. And he, when I say I started in travel as a flight attendant, he likes to tell people that it was when the Wright brothers were just starting out. It's a little bit beyond that, but it does go back a ways. But as with anything, when you're from a large family, that excellence was the expectation always. I wasn't in flight service very long before I was tagged to go through management school, learning all aspects of the airline industry, which was amazing. And then having a travel dream of getting to England and actually being accepted at a prestigious university there, and then working with a British travel company and just elevating, but always having England, I guess, as the source of what I considered the ultimate in luxury. So when I started 40 years ago, it was one of my mentors was Susie Worthy, who was the founder of Noteworthy Events. She was pretty much just starting her company as well. We developed a great friendship, and we would talk across the pond, as Susie would have said. I entertained her with Krispy Kreme donuts when she came to Chicago. She entertained me to tea and at one of the Queen's cottages when I went over there. Tremendous access. We would go back and forth and really try to understand what would my clients buy, what could she do that would give this privileged access, and how could we capitalize on that. So what I'm describing is the success of partnerships from day one, basically in our industry, right? But particularly on sites, and understanding what they can do when you've got an expert who's on site in real time, and they can bring you that incredible secret sauce, as we say. So the partnership side of things has been tremendous. And I'll go back to my flight attendant days and my Susie Worthy tutorial days for bringing me into the luxury travel world.
Well, thank you so much for that. And I just love the words that you used, privileged access. I mean, that really, it sums it up in many, many ways. And I was going to ask you, with your 40 years of experience and starting now your own agency, and I know you were with Direct Travel for many years, and obviously you started as a flight attendant. You don't look like you ate a lot of Krispy Kremes, though, I will say. So, how would you define luxury travel, Victoria? Like, it's really evolved over the years. So how would you define it?
I would actually say it has a negative connotation in many instances. It's either overused, everyone says they're luxury, or it has an artificial sort of gilded definition connotation that might come with that. What I say, the ultimate luxury, and you'll never see that in Elan marketing, and I don't believe the best advisors that I speak with, luxury is not just throwing a client into the most expensive room or suite or hotel or whatever. It is really listening to the client and crafting something. The luxury is something that's perfectly custom tailored to that client. And in many cases, that is your true advisor, who is again, not just selling from one safe portfolio that might be what I would love. It's knowing that client so well and having such great partnerships that you can really mix it up when you're putting together that itinerary, and you can pull technically what would be a 3-star experience, but it's got such a sense of place, or you've added the partner that can give them the private access in their world. That it may mean someone finding a Coca-Cola bottle in London that doesn't exist anywhere else because that's the one missing piece of their collection. It means something different to every person. And when I teach and advise and speak with advisors, what I love is listening. And when I can hear, when they're getting to the reason why that traveler is going and finding what can be a wow for that traveler, that's the true advisor. And I get so excited by that. We all have it. I love the people on the call. And I mean, we have this very amazing business. When you go to a cocktail party, everyone wants to talk about their trips, or they want to talk to you because they know you do all this. And so you'll meet somebody, and within 1 minute, they'll be like, so where should I go on my honeymoon? What should I do? I have to sit back and I'll smile, and I have to say, I don't even know you. I know what I could do on my honeymoon and what would be the most incredible wow. But if you've got a great advisor, I would talk with them, or you need to have a conversation, or we need to chat. We need to set up a time where we can sit down. I want to hear all about you. What is it? What was your favorite place to travel before? What do you look for when you're traveling? Why are you traveling? What is the perfect? So there's a big vetting process to finding out what is a luxury experience because it's a personal experience for everyone.
Well, that's very interesting that you say that, because we actually had somebody write, one of the advisors that is viewing, saying it's personal. Luxury travel is personal. And you said some really key points, Victoria. You know, one is partnerships, and that's what this session is really about: collaboration and partnership. And it's collaboration with both the client and the supplier, so that everyone everyone understands the expectations and then meets them. Can you talk a little bit about your collaboration with the partners that you work with?
Yes, I freely admit that my partners make me look smarter and better than I am every single day. They are really the reason behind my success. I received a lovely honor at the last consortia conference that I was at, and it was a top Ultra Lux Advisor award, and that is not earned solely. That is really investing in partnerships and collaboration, right? And partnerships that start, for example, Chris Austin, whom I have adored, admired, and worked with for so many years, from his Starwood days to his Seabourn days, and now at Explora, 2 years ago, coming to me and saying, I need to know, what don't you like right now about the current providers that are out there providing cruise product? What's the hardest thing to work with? What would you do? And because I'm so well known in the hotel world, Chris knew that, coming in, having a very high average daily rate within the Starwood portfolio. And yet seeing that I wasn't translating that to a Seabourn, we started it early on, then taking all of that knowledge and coming together and saying, what are the biggest objections you have when trying to sell this? So before the product was launched, I had ownership in it. I felt that I was listened to. And when I see things come out, I'm like, yes, that came from me. I had some say in that. And I think we all feel that. Anyone who has a close partnership, it isn't, I really, really get upset when I hear sometimes, and the old-fashioned advisors before the pandemic or whatever it might be, what can you do for me? What can you give me? That's not a partnership. A partnership is, how did you get through the pandemic together? How did you do refunds that were fair for the client, for the advisors, for the suppliers? How did you explain everything? How do you work on something that's brand new before you implement it and tell me there's something that I've got to do differently? The best suppliers, let's say it's Andrea Grisdale at IC Bellagio. I get a call, Victoria, I'm thinking of, we're overwhelmed. Italy isn't big enough for everybody who wants to come this year. We can't do it. We can't handle the requests. It's echoing what I'm thinking in my mind. I can't handle the requests either. She's saying, do you think we could put in and implement a minimum spend? What would you say if we said no more bookings for the summer because we've used up top guides? We can't fulfill the requests without making you wait. You feel such a sense of partnership with that you're willing to share your advice. And it's taking the time, it's sharing in every regard. I'm thinking of a new hotel program when Hyatt put in their Privé program and asked me if I would be on the alpha test site. That's hard work because you're going with nothing. And what you don't want to have, if they're going to invest in a new site for advisors to make it more time efficient and more easier to sell their product, what you need to do is put the time in and say, I don't want another consumer website. I want this and this and this. What rooms are connecting? How quickly can I get to the concierge? That sort of thing. So partners who have reached out to ask for your advice or will listen and work with you, I have the utmost respect, and they're in my Elan Super portfolio.
Now, it's very interesting what you're saying, because you talked about the customer and listening to what the customer is really, really wanting. and not just selling them something that's off the shelf, but finding out what's going to be a wow moment for them. And then on the partner side, about the partner listening and actually asking you for advice. How does an advisor who may not be on advisory boards or may be starting out, how does that advisor select their partners and let them know that they'd like to collaborate? I mean, do you have any tips on that to
Yes,
help our audience?
Yes, I think a key mistake that I mean, and believe me, I'm not saying I haven't done all these mistakes, but there is a certain blessing that comes with age and hindsight, right? So, I mean, understanding that you cannot be a super performer with every single partner. And even if they're all your consortia partners, your consortia is not running your business. You need to pick and choose. It's great that they're in that. That's another tool for you to go to make sure you've got the credibility and that you've got the financial stability and what you're looking for before you invest in a partner. But it takes work. If I would guess any one of us on this call, from whether you're the client, whether you're the hotel, whether you're the partner, you're the advisor, if you weren't working during that pandemic to learn more and do more, and I don't like the word pivot because I said I'll never use it again after 2020, but you know, I'm like, okay, I sell the exotic. I'm the one who does all of the, you know, the most remote part of the world and can get you there. I don't walk out of a store and go the right direction. That's a different skill set, but I can get you anywhere and I can do it and it won't faze me. And I'll usually have a top partner on the ground there that can assist. But I think what advisors need to do is you need to invest, you need to read what they're doing, you need to be on those webinars and then communicate. Afterward, take the time to write an old-fashioned letter or to do something that's, and I'm a stickler for grammatically correct. I think just take the time to say, thank you. I'd like to know more. Could we reach out? I mean, it does go both ways. Partners should know when you're calling in too, they should know that you're in an advisor group that is committed to working with them. And not all advisors are equal. There should be, to me, response times should be better for those who've invested. Maybe you work with a more senior team to make it easier so that you feel more of an expert. I would say a young advisor, and I have many of them who reach out to me, and I am flattered. It keeps me young. Reach out to those peers, people who are in your industry. I don't know anyone who wouldn't share. From Martin Rapp to Stacy Fisher to Wendy Burke, these are the best of the best. We call each other, we share, and love to build up the new people who are within their teams. And the better we all are, the better that is for this whole industry and certainly for the clients. So
that is absolutely true, Victoria. And I think you've answered that question really well, because I think it's really just reaching out. I don't know any vice president or above, even at any supplier, that any supplier worth its salt that wouldn't respond to an advisor, even if they didn't know them. So know who the executive team is at your supplier companies, and select your suppliers based on their product and what they can do for you, but then get to know them, starting with your BDM, of course, and then even moving up. There is a question, and I do encourage everyone to please put your questions in the chat room. Colette Thompson said, is there such a thing as creating a luxury experience for a client who has no cap to their budget, and also for those who have a low budget? And Colette said, sorry if my question is a little pedestrian. I'm a new advisor and still learning a lot. So how do you create a luxury experience at both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the client's budget?
I think it's a great question. And I think you all look at that and you approach it differently. My advice, and is to travel at whatever level you can, just travel. I might not be the right expert. My team might not be the right expert. I oftentimes will spend time with the client listening to them, and I'll be like, no apologies. I just want you to go. And I mean, I remember back to my first trip to London, having told you my love of England, my very first trip was going to London, and Michael and I went with a budget of £15 a night. And we knew to go to Paddington Station and start to Victoria rather, and go to door to the bed and breakfast and actually ask to see them. That was my insider tip, to make sure before I committed my £15 a night. But I do love working with new people coming in, and I see it, and I'll use my son as an example. 35 years old, at first very suspicious of anything that mom recommended or advised, but then understanding that, okay, they've got this budget, and you want to know a mistake that I made was actually putting him in, because it was my baby. I wanted him to be in an incredible property that I supplemented and paid for part of it, and I had him there. They were not comfortable at all. That was my level of comfort. That was my perfect trip. The better goal would be, okay, you've got this budget, we can do, and this will all work within the year, but on this one night, there's a restaurant that if you go and you have this view and you have this appetizer and do this, this may put you a little bit over your budget, but you're so going to remember this experience the rest of your life. And you've now created a wow within a budget. You've pushed it a bit, and there's got to be, to me, there's always got to be one yummy tidbit that's personalized, that is a wow for that particular person at whatever level of the scale they're at. For an ultra luxury client, it can be very difficult. I guarantee you that they are more well-read. They are more in tune with what's going on. They will see through you in 10 minutes if you don't add anything to the equation. So that's the part that energizes me. It means reading everything a consumer's reading every day, the luxury consumer. It's reading all of our internal publications. It's putting that all together and being that go-to expert to find what you can do and put together. And that is whether they've never hiked the W in Patagonia, they've never done whatever. I would say our travelers read. We have an Elan blog that is so well received. It is, we'll get a written and this is for the Elan, the people who have been hand chosen for the Elan as an Elan clientele. They are watching. This is firsthand experience. Where have we gone? And given them ideas of what has been exciting, and they'll write back with their own ideas. And we know then exactly what they want to do and what they want to create. There's another ultra luxury client who's never been exposed to the type of on-site, personalized, private experiences that we can offer. They've just not done it. They've spent their lives either raising a family or building a business that's incredibly successful, but no one has helped them have the experience of what we can do. I'm working with a new referral, I'd say new within the last year. They're vetted, they pay a fee, they come on board. Then we go back and forth on their trips, and I just put together a private Spain and Portugal. And I know he's never done some of these things because he's like, can you explain to me why this is working out to X amount of thousands per day? And I'm like, well, I picked the best suite for you here, and I've got the best driver here, and I've got a separate guide here. I've got this. And so you need to know what you're doing. They want to know. No one wants to be taken advantage of. And it's a misconception that a luxury traveler just opens up their wallet and says, here, spend whatever you want to spend. No, they're bright, they're brilliant, they're successful for a reason. They want to know that you've got value. So if you have confidence in yourself and know your partners and what you're offering, and you believe in it, they'll believe in it. One of my favorite stories is when I have advisors sitting around me and I'm on the phone with clients, and you can see I love the client piece of this. I love building our business, but I love the client side. And I'll get off of a call and I'll have somebody take their credit card, put it down in front of me and say, like, an advisor say, here, just sign me up. I want to go on that trip, because it's exciting. We should all be so energized by what we're doing. And you always have to remember, you're not actually going on the trip, you're just putting it together. But it's really fun working with the best partners and the best clients in the world.
And Victoria, your passion and enthusiasm, come out so well. And I think, your answer to Colette, really, just to summarize, Colette, is, that it does not really matter about the budget. It matters as to the experience for the client, and regardless of their budget, and to make something special happen for them, regardless of that budget, unless it's just not profitable. And I do want to talk about profitability a little bit. Obviously, well, most people would think that, most advisors would believe that selling luxury travel is more profitable than selling, let's call it, mass market travel, even though, as you said, every experience should be customized and personal. So there really shouldn't even be that word mass market. But do you find that the profitability is greater for certain travel segments?
Well, if I may, I'll only speak to the market that I know so well, and it is, and I am known for running an amazing business, and it is profitable. You have fabulous clients when you have this discussion with them. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm calculating, I'll put in 20 hours on this trip. I've got to make this much, per hour. Be that go-to expert, whether they're asking you for your expertise, whether that's on the use of points, which is no commission coming in, or whether it's on advise me what I should do here, this destination or whatever. It's never about the one trip, right? So profitability, you should be able to determine that by having that discussion with the clients. It shouldn't really be the product ultimately that they're buying. I always say, okay, this is a combination for me. If I'm making some commission on this and I can do this, and my bottom line commission is, I'll charge this fee. And if it's not, if I'm doing something on straight expertise, if I'm analyzing a private jet fleet, or I'm telling you whether it's more profitable to do this, or that's a straight expert fee structure by the hour. So when you can become that go-to person, it shouldn't just be about, well, I'm not helping that person, I'm going to give them all the information, and then they're going to want to use their Bonvoy points to buy it. That shouldn't be alarming. That's an opportunity to introduce a conversation of, if you do your Bonvoy points, great, you've got this, and that would be equal to this value. Or if you bought this product and you added more Bonvoy points, and we add in the breakfast and we add in the upgrade and we get you this, is that a better use of your points on this particular booking, or should you save that for something else? And the profitability factor goes up because I explain, I charge more to redeem your points than I do if we were to book that as a paid booking.
Well, I think that's, it brings me into service fees, and, it's obvious that you charge service fees, and, we can all look back to 25 years ago when Bob Joslin was trying to get all advisors to charge fees, and it was a struggle. And I can tell you through the pandemic, we did a lot of education on service fees. And now I think there's more, I think there's been a 50% increase based on our research in advisors now charging fees. But I think you make a really great point, Victoria. I think of the big box brands, one that uses travel as a loss leader to get them into their warehouse. And what you're really saying is don't let that disturb you. Don't let points, or they're loyal to certain brands, and that's okay. Just use it to their advantage, but also understand that it has to be to your advantage as well. So that may increase the fee. I think that's a great point. And just getting back to collaboration and partnership, and I don't like it to be commercial, even though Saul and Explored Journeys is sponsoring this. I believe they have a concierge program that actually will work with the advisor to help sell the cruise. Is that correct, Saul? You can just.
You're right. Yep. We have it's our ambassador team within our Explorer Experience Center will work with the advisor and work with their clients directly. And we welcome that over a traditional conference call, or it could be like this. It could be a Zoom call or a Teams call. Honestly, whatever the client and the advisor is comfortable with.
Thank you. So, and it's first in the industry. Victoria, would you say that that's a good example of collaboration between partners and clients?
It is. And what I love is, I've got clients on today, they're proud to be partnering with me. They want to understand more, and they're loving knowing about new product that's out there. Mary Gallo did a wonderful Explora session where we were invited clients, and we had the team and we had clients, and we sat together and we were all asking questions, and it was great. And it wasn't heavy sales, book this now or you'll lose this. That doesn't work for the luxury client, right? But everyone wants to have a bit more information and a little bit more of that insider access feeling. So I think it's extremely successful. We had 5 bookings within a very short time on a product that doesn't even launch until next year, which is very unusual for me. I usually have firsthand experience at everything. So that was because of trust and commitment of partnership and collaboration with clients.
And, with collaborating with the clients and the partners, you and I spoke about this, the personal experience obviously is everything, but when you're doing your own travel, are you recording all of the people that you meet in the executive team or the front desk so that you can share it with your clients, and then maybe even email the property or the cruise ship or whoever to kind of make it more personal for the client?
That happens every single day. We all use all the big tools for time efficiencies and things like this. So whether that's booking in the GDS or going to your consortia sheets or booking, whatever it is, but our clients are introduced to the chef concierge. They're introduced to they'll be met on arrival. They'll be as if welcomed home, right? When I'm traveling, and it is, I told you I have this thing for communication, written communication. I do hire a lot of liberal arts grads because they have an awareness of art, history, culture, religion, music, and they know how to write and speak. So I love all that. That's my thing. So I bring my beautiful paper with me, and a handwritten note is at the front desk. It's waiting when I leave. I do my thank yous before I ever get home, and that's what a client loves. That any of us love something that's really, I think, a lost art. An email thank you is wonderful, but that's just been something I've done forever. I'm pretty sure it was drilled into my head that as one of 7, our birthday gifts really were not our own until that thank you note had been written. So I share that, and it's just, it is a way. The other thing that's been tremendous, and it does sound scary that we launched Elan at the end of 2019. I announced it at ILTM in Cannes, but it's not as scary as it sounds. I had spent 2 years analyzing my huge client base and understanding what's the profitability quotient here? What does that mean? And that doesn't mean what's the spend all the time. It doesn't mean this is the person who will always spend this. It's the happiness quotient. I told you this yesterday. It is, do these people bring you joy? Is there a trust? Do you have so much fun when you're on the call or you're working on things together? That's who the clientele is. And so when Elan launched with only 5% of my original clientele, leaving the other 95% with a team that I had trained, and so I knew they would be well handled and I could still touch them. But this 5%, all during the pandemic, we were able to reach out to them. It got back to my love of writing, which we're all too busy. I couldn't do that in my previous life. So writing from the heart and finding out where clients were holed up, how were they dealing with their 90-year-old mother? Where were they yearning to go? What trip did they cancel? And putting our hearts out there and then getting back written responses over 50% of the time saying, yes, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. It was a master class in knowing a 2-year, 5-year plan for your clients and knowing everything about them. So when travel started, and this group is the first to go, I will tell you, they were traveling from November in 2020. This group is intrepid, and they had the spend, and they had the courage to get out there and go, and they could safely do it. Maybe it was with a private aircraft at first, or they would buy a bigger suite or a wing in some cases at a hotel. But it is sharing personal expertise, sharing contacts, making people feel like when they arrive or do something, there is no risk. It's like we have handheld them all the way. And I know so many advisors who do that, and hats off, because that's the most fun part and it's the most rewarding part.
Absolutely. And it's important, that touches on data, not just the client, data, contact information, but data of your partners, so that you're really getting down to the individual on the ground in the particular destination. So I would encourage everyone to listen to what Victoria is saying, particularly those of you that are new, in keeping the data of those that you meet while you're traveling, or your clients have traveled, or your supplier tells you about, so that you can make personal connections between the client and those on the ground. Victoria, we have about 10 minutes left, and I just want to encourage everyone to ask questions again, but also I just wanted to ask you if you could share an experience where you failed someone and how you handled it, if you did fail anyone, because you sound like you're a perfectionist, but if you've made any mistakes.
Absolutely. Happy to chime in on that. And I just want you to know that to those, again, starting out and wanting to develop those relationships, just to follow up on this blog that we write, it always features those partners who've been incredible, and it mentions them by name. And we have a supplier list that gets sent the blog, and we have the client list. And what's been really an honor is that partners who have maybe not been mentioned, but they know who we are, they will write back and say, that was so beautifully done, Victoria. I wait for your articles and I share them with our team. So, I mean, people are, the supplier partners are learning, and advisors are learning that these things mean a lot. We haven't paid somebody to do this. This comes from the heart. Have I had a major failure? Oh my goodness, I could be on this call for days to tell you about that. But let's just say a recent one, and it's always, very hurtful when you think you've got it all figured out. And if you from sticking to your standards. And an Elan client has been vetted. I've spent hours on them. There's a feed because we build everything into a password protected profile. You've gone back and forth. How are you going to handle them? What is on their list? What partners might work best for them? The trick comes in when you've got that absolute mega A-list client. And let's say it was a top booking in Saint-Tropez, beyond crafted. Everything during the height of the season, every private club entered, every on-site concierge, everything done to the nines. One of the guests comes to you basically during the Cannes Film Festival. Let's say it was probably 10 days before. It was a guest of the client. Did I go through my entire vetting process and do whatever? No, I need a top villa. My film is up for this award and I need to have this showplace. I need to do this. It means dropping everything, and it's doing it and talking about your fees, but just knowing you have no time. So you're not going to wait for that to be done. You've told them you're in and working on it. And you can guess, I was ghosted. I was ghosted on it after finding the perfect product. But again, this was out of his budget, and I made the mistake of thinking it was out of my client's budget. And you hear that, celebrity sort of film thing. And I mean, use my example, people. Don't get taken in. Celebrities, oftentimes they're fine. They're just like my mom and dad, or like you and me. It's their PAs or whatever, or you may be thinking you have to do something absolutely free for them because these are mega stars. No, that's a mistake. Don't do that. So
well, that's a great example, and thank you for that. And
it's a horrible example. I'm still
well,
angry.
It's a good example of making mistakes. And I think it just goes back to, what you said at the beginning, that you're real and authentic. And I don't think you mentioned, although I was off for a few minutes, your background. You grew up on a farm in Wisconsin and you milked cows as a child. So to go from
that's going too far. We had division of labor. I had 6 brothers and I was the daughter, and we did all of the inside work, and I do mean all of it. And the 6 brothers did the outside work. So my brothers who may be listening right now, would be at my doorstep if I said I milked cows. I was never anywhere near animals, but I baked bread and I used a wringer washer because it got clothes cleaner and all of those things. So that's real.
Well, and it's so real and so authentic. And I think that is exactly how we have to think about our clients, is that everyone has a story and everybody had a beginning. And regardless of what their budget is, today, we've all had a beginning, right? So it's the best not to assume what the budget is, find out more about them, as you said, know them inside and out, so you know what their personal touch points are, and then you will satisfy that client.
So shrink your client list, get it so it is handleable, that you know more about it. The spend will be greater, not because you're pushing anything, but you know more about them. You're going to be providing those incredible experiences that will make them want to travel more. So.
Absolutely. And Anna said she's from Germantown, Wisconsin here, and somebody said that you churned the butter. So that might be one of your siblings. I don't know, but
I made the cottage cheese and pasteurized the milk. How's that? So.
Oh my gosh. Well, everyone is thanking you, and I just want to give you your last word. Victoria, is there any other advice you'd like to give to our group? Everyone's thanking you for giving them the tips.
There's so many people who could have done this. And again, it was such an honor to do this today, but I will tell you, the joy, anyone listening, if there isn't the joy and happiness from putting this together and doing what we do, I mean, I'm very lucky I don't sell hammers. for a living, or none of us do. We have the most incredible world out there that is our portfolio, and it's really fun, and it's great to share that. And I love sharing that with others in the industry. I love that clients want to know more about you. And it's great that you've got these partnerships, client partnerships, where clients will say, Victoria, if you ever want to go to a different model, that is, I need to pay more upfront, or you just want to do whatever it is, you realize these clients love you, and you can have a great discussion with them, and they will help you grow a better business. So
that is really wonderful. There is one question that I will ask. Do you share specific names and locations of luxury accommodations on social media or your website during an inspection? I'm afraid of them booking on their own. Do you recommend that you share any of that on your own?
I share a lot of it, because all I can tell you, if I had $1 for every time I hear someone say, Victoria, there is something different when you book even if it's just a hotel room, right? There is a different experience when I do this. People today, after the pandemic, for no one wants to make a mistake on their travel. No one wants that. They may have the money, the time at the first time. They know that if they book their own things during the pandemic, they were stuck on their own. They were, that was an Expedia situation. You maybe were on hold 20 hours. I would say any one of the great advisors on here, I bet you your clients didn't lose a dime, or if they lost something, it was fair to the supplier, it was fair to you, it was fair to the traveler, it was an equitable solution, right? So I'm not afraid of somebody booking. If you want to book it on your own, you will get a commodity, you will get a product, it will be a room, it will not be the experience that we all can provide.
That is so well said. And so be confident in yourselves.
Yes.
As long as you're providing the experience, be confident in yourself, and the collaboration between the partner and the client is so important. Victoria, I want to thank you on behalf of all of our viewers and on behalf of Travel Market Report so much. Your passion and enthusiasm, as I said, just exudes and almost comes through on this Zoom call, that we can touch you. And Saul, I just want to thank you so much, and Explorer Journeys for believing in the advisor community. We are rooting for you. We can't wait for the first Explorer 1 to come out in July. And again, thank you for your partnership, and thank you, everyone. This it has been recorded. Tom put in the chat room how you can find it. We'll also put the recording on Travel Market Report. And our next webinar is on November 3rd. And November 17th. The November 3rd one will be about selling Mexico and the Caribbean. So again, thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you, Saul. Have a great rest of the week,
Great pleasure.
everyone.
Great pleasure. Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you.
Victoria.
Bye now.